Hello everyone, today we want to test the position, speed and torque modes all together. Well, here in this setup we have used a specialized educational kit, as you can clearly see. For this demonstration we have utilized a high quality servo motor and a matching servo drive from the LS brand, specifically from their standard series. We have carefully connected it to a precision ball screw mechanism which allows us to achieve smooth linear movement, and we did this to make our overall movement much more precise and reliable for our testing purposes. Here we also have a linear scale, and we can use this scale to measure the displacement. We can measure it. We've also used a series of sensors here which are for the CW limit and CCW limit, and we've also installed a sensor for the homing process. The homing function is essential because it determines the precise home point for our operations. The specific control system that we have implemented for this high-performance servo system is a compact LS PLC unit, which works in conjunction with an XPF-PD02A expansion card to ensure accuracy. We're controlling this servo system, and we're also using an LS HMI. We've used an HMI, and in this HMI we've written a program where we've included different modes. For example, this first page of the HMI is related to the position mode. If we press this button, the position mode will be activated for us, and if we press it again, it will be deactivated. We've set up another page for the speed mode, where by pressing this button we can activate or deactivate the speed mode. There's also a page for the torque mode, where again by pressing this button we can activate or deactivate the torque mode. Alright, so the first mode we're going to test together is the position mode. I'm going to activate it now. If you look here, you'll notice a P which stands for position mode. Here, using this button, we can set the servo on and servo off. You can do that. When the servo is currently powered off, the motor shaft remains completely free, and you can clearly see that it moves quite easily. However, if I go ahead and activate the servo right here, you will notice that this motor shaft is now held completely still, and we simply can't move it manually anymore. Now, looking over here at the controls, we can actually set a specific rotation speed. Set, and here we can also set a displacement value. And here we also have a direction button, so we can change the direction here. Now, for example, let me say with this same speed we can set different speeds as well. For example, if we consider this exact same speed of 10 millimeters per second, the resulting value. For another example, I will now manually set the total displacement to exactly 20 millimeters. Alright, now look at the ruler. Right now we're at 16 centimeters. Let's see. I'll activate this and let's see how much it moves. It was set to move 2 centimeters for us of displacement, right? Alright, take a look at this. Now check this out. In the direction, changed by 2 centimeters in the CW direction. Now I can activate the direction here so that the direction of movement changes. If we set the direction and do it again, if I activate this, let's see if it returns to its original position, meaning the same as before. It returns to its original position, so we can set the mode to position, the amount of displacement, and the speed at which it should move for us, as well as the direction, that is the direction of movement. We can set all of these here. Alright, there are also some other settings here, for example, when it reaches the CWL limit or when it reaches the CWL limit. Well, this specific function can give us an audible alarm, and the mechanical movement itself will automatically stop for us. Alright, now I will deactivate this setting and switch over to the speed mode. If you notice here on the screen, in this speed mode, the servo motor is currently set to a specific rotation speed, which clearly indicates that we are currently in speed mode. Now, while we are in this speed mode, if you can recall our previous lessons together, we specifically mentioned that we have the ability to set several different speeds for this mode. If you take a closer look right here, you can see that we've already set speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3, just as an example. So, as you can see, we have carefully considered and configured these different speeds here for our use. Now, let's test this together. For example, I activate speed 1 here, and we can see that it's moving. Whenever I stop it, you can see that its movement stops. Well, in speed mode, the value of displacement is no longer relevant for us. Currently, we can only set a specific speed so that our servo motor moves at a very precise rate. Now I have manually stopped it right here for a moment. As I mentioned to you before, we have already configured several different speeds right here in the settings. Now I'm going to change the direction. I'm changing the direction. For this instance, we want the movement to take place at a different rate, which is a much slower pace. Well, as you can clearly see here, this time our servo is moving in the completely opposite direction and at a much lower speed. It is moving steadily, and you will notice that its speed remains perfectly constant while operating in this specific mode. The amount of displacement is no longer relevant for us. The servo motor is currently operating continuously at a very steady and constant speed. As you can see here, let's go ahead and press the stop button so that all of the movement stops for us immediately. Alright, moving forward, now let's test the torque mode together. So I will completely deactivate and switch off this speed mode right now, and then we can proceed. We'll go to the next page. Here is the torque mode. We'll activate the torque mode together here. If you notice here, the letter T appeared, which indicates the torque mode. Alright, in torque mode, for the servo, we need to set two things. First, we need to set a speed for it. First, we need to set a specific speed for it, ensuring that it moves at a very consistent and controlled pace. Then, in addition to that, there is also a torque value to consider, which we can easily set right here as a specific percentage of the overall rated torque. Let's go ahead and set it here in the interface, and now we can finally test this entire process together. For example, I will start by setting the speed to a low value. I think I will just set it to 1 for now. Now let's take a look at the torque settings to see how they respond. Now, for example, we'll test it at different percentages to see and compare the differences. Now I'll set this to 1, and there's also the direction here that we can change the direction. Now this, I'll go ahead and activate it right now. Okay, let's see. It is currently working with a very low torque setting. Now look closely. I can actually hold it with my hand, meaning the torque is so incredibly low that I can easily grab it without any trouble. Now, if I increase its speed a bit, maybe we can see it better. For example, I'll set its speed to, I am going to set this to 10, and then I will also change its direction. Now take a close look at this. Is it moving yet? I grab it firmly with my hand, and as you can see, it is still moving. The torque is actually so low right now that I can easily hold it in place. Okay, let's see what happens if I increase the torque percentage. For example, let's set it to a higher value, like the number 20, and I will also change the direction once more, okay? Oh, now let us wait and see exactly what happens here. Look at that. Even with the increase, it is still completely controllable. All right, now this time I'll increase the torque percentage a lot, and let's see what changes. For example, if I set it to 90, see, now I can't stop it anymore. Now if I change the direction, look, if I change it, as you can see, the torque is actually so high that I simply can't stop it myself. So by manually adjusting the torque percentage on the controller, we can easily increase or decrease the total amount of torque being produced. Thank you very much for staying with me.